Hi students, chapter 4, The Enemy. Let's have a look at the continuation of this chapter. Thus agreed together, they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time, until it is only feathers and skeleton. So his arms hanging, they carried him up steps and into the side door of the house. The door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. Sadhu and Hannah lifted the injured man into the house. He was very light. The writer compares his weight to the weight that of a hen that has not been fed for a long time, and its body loses flesh and reduces into mere feathers and skeleton. The man's arms were hanging, and Dew carried him up the steps into the side door of the house. The door opened into a passage, and they went down the passage towards an empty bedroom. So, Sadhu and Hannah, they had lifted that injured man into their house. He was very light. The writer compared his weight to the weight to that of a hen that has not been fed for a long time. So he became very lean because what? Because he had not get enough food and proper care for a long time, and his body loses his flesh and reduce into a mere feathers and skeleton. The man's arms were hanging, and the Dew carried him the steps into the side door of the house. The door opened into a passage, and they went down the passage towards an empty bedroom. So they placed this man's body into an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadhu's father, and since his death it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man. We would never in his own sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. Hannah went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out of a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk, and the lining was pure white silk. The bedroom belongs to Sadhu's father, and it had not been used after his death. The injured man was laid on a thick mat on the floor. The writer describes the room. Everything in the room was Japanese, as Sadhu's father disliked foreign things. Hannah went to the cupboard into the wall and took a soft quilt. She resisted putting it on the injured man. The quilt was made up of silk, had a flowery print on it, and the lining was made up of pure white silk. So the bedroom belongs to Sadhu's father. There was no foreign things in that bedroom because Sadhu's father was a true patriot, and he only likes Japanese things in his room. And Hannah went to the cupboard in the wall and took a soft quilt. She resisted putting it on the injured man because what, it was a soft quilt, and it was a very good because his body is covered with a lot of blood, and Hannah feared that soft quilt would be affected with the stains of the blood. That's why he prevented them into putting that soft quilt over that man. He is so dirty, she murmured in distress. Yes, he had better be washed. Sadhu agreed. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. She was sad and spoke slowly that the man was very dirty. Sadhu said that the man had to be washed. Sadhu asked Hannah to get hot water so that he could wash the man. So, I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. We will have to tell the servants. He is here. I will tell Yumi now. Yumi is a servant of that house. She can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. Hannah did not want that Sadhu should touch the man. So Hannah prevented Sadhu to touch the man because his body is full of dirt. She said that they would ask the servant to wash the injured man. She would call Yumi to leave attending the children for a few minutes and wash him. Yumi is a servant of the house, and she is look after the two children of that house, and they called Yumi to wash this injured man. Sadhu considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I will tell the others. But the utter pallor of man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and felt his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. He put his hand against his cold breast. The hurt too was yet alive. Sadhu thought for a moment and then agreed with Hannah. He asked her to call Yumi while he would call the other servants. Before he could go out, he saw the injured man's face. It was so pale that he stopped, bent forward, and felt his heartbeat to see if he was alive. The heartbeat was very faint, but it was there. Sado placed his hand on the man's heart to feel it. It was also beating. Sado concluded thus that the injured man was alive. So Sado concluded. Sado put his hand towards his breast, and he found that his heart is beating, and it found that he is still alive. He will die unless he is operated on, Sado said, considering the question is whether he will not die anyway. So Sado commented that if the man was not operated upon, he would die. He added that even he was operated upon and saved, he would die at the hands of the Japanese army. So either way, he would die. Sado said that if he did the operation, or if he did the operation, that also he will die, because what if he handed over the Japanese army, they will definitely shoot at him. Sorry. Definitely shoot at him. So in both cases, but death is sure for this man. Hannah cried out in fear, "Don't try to save him, but if he should live." Hannah screamed with fear and asked Sado not to save the man. She feared that if he lived, they would be in danger. "What, he should die?" Sado replied. He stood gazing down on the motionless man. This man must have an extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps at 25. "You mean die from the operation?" Hannah asked. Yes, Sado said. Sado questioned that what would be the implication if the man died. He looked down towards the injured man and wondered that he had a lot of energy which he had kept him alive through such torture. He countered his thought with the fact that the man was very young. He seemed to be 25 years of age, and at the age people do have a lot of energy. Hannah asked him that did he mean that man could die during the operation. Sado confirmed her question. Sado questioned that what would be the implication if the man died. So Sado said that what would be the problem if this man would be died. He looked down towards the injured man and wondered that he had a lot of energy which he had kept him alive through such a torture. So he had his body is full of tortured by the enemies, but still he is alive because he had a lot of energy in his body. He countered his thought with the fact that man was very young. He seemed to be 25 years of age. At the age people do have a lot of energy. So Sado again added that he is only having a 25 years of age. At this age but people have a much energy in their body. Hannah asked him that did he mean the man could die during the operation. Sado confirmed her question. So Hannah asked that are you planning to kill him during the operation. Sado confirmed her question. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sado turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him. He said at first he must be washed. He went quickly out of the room, and Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. He was the first she had since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was her enemy, a menace living or dead. Hannah was pondering of the possibility, and she was taking him to reply. Sado left. He said that something had to be done with the injured man. So something means some care should be given to this injured man irrespective of the result. So we do not mind about the result, whether he is dead or alive. That is the result. So Sado said that we do not mind about the result, what do happen with this injured man, but we have to do something for this man. The first thing was to wash him. First thing was to wash him means the first thing was to clean his body. As he walked out of the room, Hannah followed him. She did not want to remain in the room alone with the white-skinned man. So when Sado went out of the room, Hannah also followed her because she did not want to remain in the room with that white man. White man means an American man. Since she had left America, he was the first white man she had seen. She had no contact with Americans she had meet as they were her enemies. The injured man was also an enemy and was a threat to them. So since she left from America, she did not have any contact with the white people. So after that, it was the first time they had only meet an American person. American person. This injured man was also an enemy and was a threat for them. Hope students you have understood today's lesson. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any doubts, please watch the video again and again. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.